And in today's breaking news, we've got...
Need some papers to shuffle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to JMT TV and also the Pure Jamie Milne podcast. Not sure if those words all go together in the same sentence,
Sounds
but ladies and gentlemen, I'm really pumped and I am so excited and privileged to have the man himself, the Admiral of the Breakfast Airways, Sam Coward from Hot 91 FM. How are you, my brother?
Really good, mate. Thanks for having us.
Mate, I'm so pumped. So pumped. Sam, for those of you that don't know, in a very short elevator story, he's been involved with blockbuster movies, Boar, Charlie's Farm, is that correct? Theatre, he's a philanthropist, Matthew Flinders, you went to school here.
Done some research.
Hey, scratched
you
around. Little sneaky Uncle Google.
Yeah, local boy.
Local boy, and correct me if I'm wrong, I really don't want to stuff this up, married for 17 years?
Yeah. 17 years and a 13-year-old daughter, Poppy, who is our everything.
Oh, love that. And as I was mentioning, breakfast show host, in my opinion, of the best radio station on the Sunshine Coast. I mean that sincerely. You guys are an absolute legend.
Thanks, mate.
But we're trying with JMT TV and the Pure Jamie Milne podcast to shine a bright light on people on the Sunshine Coast that are just doing positive things, amazing things. They're helpful, they're useful, they're beautiful, and they really contribute masses to the community. So if you haven't already had the pleasure of experiencing this man's company or interaction with this man, hopefully after today you'll know a little bit more about one of the legends, the Maharajas,
Getting emotional.
of the Sunshine Coast.
Need a hug.
Mate, who is Sam Coward? Who is Sam Coward?
It's a really interesting question, and I think at this day and age we do a lot of self-reflection as to who that is. And the short answer is I don't know. I have no clue. I'm still finding that out. And I think one of the things that defines who I am at the moment is a guy that just wants to have fun. I don't want to grow up. I don't want to have found everything. I don't want to do anything twice. I want to experience new things and just have fun. I don't take life too seriously.
Yeah.
And I think that's who I am through everything I do, whether it be my job, whether it be my family or responsibilities, paying bills. I don't take anything too seriously, and I think my bills are all outstanding.
My bills are your bills.
But that's it. I think life is lived once. I don't subscribe to any particular faith or religion. Yeah. I'm open-minded to everything, have a crack at anything, and just love life.
Yeah, that's so true. That is well done, mate. We only made it to the 5th floor on the elevator and you had it covered, bro. That was awesome. One thing I've really noticed about you, and as we were saying before we started filming, a few of the charitable communities-based things that I've done, you have been so enthusiastic, heavily involved, energetic with what we're doing, supporting us. And mate, one of the events I remember in particular, 2:00 in the morning, or very close to that, something I've got a bit of PTSD, memory's not right, but when I was having a crack at the world record chins pull-ups at the Sunny Plaza, mate, and I know Sam is the breakfast host of Hot FM, but he still came down in the middle of the night when there was tumbleweeds and there was crickets and there was homeless dudes trying to steal my shit. Sam came down and mate, you sat there, you looked at me and you smiled and like just genuine care factor. Like who does that? People in the media, people of celebrity status, we kind of have them up here. We think, oh, maybe they don't rub shoulders with the man on the street, and there you were, bro. There, giving me support. You do a lot with the reef cleanup. I see with Crocs. Mate, you are the man. So what drives that? Why do you help so much? Because you really do.
Well, thank you. For starters, I think let's get one thing straight. I think the celebrity thing's bullshit. I don't think that's real. Yeah. I think that's just a manufactured thing that exists ultimately to sell stuff. Yeah. I think it's a construct. So put that to the side, but in terms of why I do what I do, I love when people get off their ass and have a crack. When I first heard of your story doing the Mini Miles for Mary run from Melbourne to here, I thought that's a superhuman effort. And for someone to have a crack at something like that, it says there's a level of motivation and engagement that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I respect people who get out of the cog. There's so many people that are in this machine of life that just go to work, get home, pay their bills, eat, sleep, shag, go and repeat. You know what I mean? And I think that's just like a mouse wheel. And I think it's an unfortunate circumstance that I think the majority of people find themselves in. So when someone spikes out of that with a bit of authenticity, a bit of unique spunk, and says, I'm going to have a crack at life, I'm going to shake things up a bit, it then leads as an example to other people.
Yeah.
And so I then latch onto those people to go, you're a rock star, we need to shine some spotlight onto how awesome and your own brand of magic so that other people can get influenced and motivated by that.
Yeah.
So with you, when you were doing many miles for Mary, I went, here's a rock star. Here's a rock star that's jumping out of the mould, who's doing something unique, and even better, doing it for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the best thing we can do in our, what do you got? Let's look at life. Let's look at life.
Yeah.
If you've got 70 years of life, let's say, 70 years, up until you're 15, up until you're 20, you're basically told what to do by your parents. All right, so take 20 years off 70 years, you've got 50 years of life. From 60 to 70, you're starting to slow down, realistically. So you've got 40 years of life. And in that 40 years, I reckon you spend about 7 years shitting, probably 5 years brushing your teeth, drinking coffee. So all told, you've probably got between 20 and 30 years to actually make a difference with what you do with the time you've got in your life.
Yeah.
So why the fuck would you spend it doing something mundane every day that's boring, monotonous and repetitive? Why not do something that actually gives somebody something else? And the best thing is the shared experience. You can have all the money in the world, and what the fuck are you going to do with it when you die?
Oh, everybody, are you listening to this? If you haven't already got G'd up, I got some movement. I have got some movement.
Is that what that is? Is that what that is? But you know what I mean? Like, you sit back and look and think, these super rich people, how much is enough? Like, how much do you need?
Yeah, how many zeros?
What does it make you feel better? Does it make your dick bigger? Does it make you sing sweeter? I don't think so.
Does it?
No, it doesn't. But it's one of those things that you look at and go, if you're not having fun every day, or if you're not helping someone else have fun, I don't know what the point of life is.
So true, mate. My God.
That's it for me. And I'm out.
Oh, over. I'm out. Oh, mate, that is so good.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Because fun, and everyone's got a different brand of fun. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you go and do 1 million pull-ups, you crazy bastard. And some people run 17 marathons consecutively, or will go through the Hurt 100 and punish yourself in one of the world's most grueling, physically testing things. And my perception of why you do that is that you test yourself to do what other people can't, because you look at yourself as somebody who, well, I've got these skills, I've got these talents. I'm not quite sure why I do it, so I'm going to test myself because A, I want to test myself to see what this body, this rig can do.
Yeah.
And two, if I can set an example for other people and bring some awareness to an idea while I'm doing it, I've ticked another box.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. When you do things like that, or, other people, there are many people out there doing things. I mean, obviously, even in your line of work, it's a very we-based line of work, job, however you want to look at it, and it gives people the opportunity to jump on board and get caught up in the enthusiasm, get involved, and they think, well, I can't do what you do. I can't talk to people every morning. I can't run like this guy. But I tell you what, I can get involved down this avenue, or I can support down this avenue, or I can meet you halfway and do this.
Everyone brings their gifts.
Everybody brings a bit of their own sparkle, a bit of magic, and
100%.
Jeez, that is
100%.
There's something there's a question I've been wanting to ask you. And I remember the last time I spoke to you.
All right. Skin, mate. Let's do it. I'll put the fishing rod in the car. Got a lot Brokeback.
There's a... And,
not that question?
No, not that question.
Righto, next question.
I've become fascinated, as I've become a bit older, I've become fascinated with politics. Now, this particular subject, I really did stick my head as far as I possibly could in the sand. And I just thought, look, it's a bit of the old, whatever I don't know, it doesn't really affect me too much. And a real odd approach to it. And I got really caught up in and fascinated and interested. You talked to me, it was literally like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We were just talking about a certain area of politics when we finished an interview, and I thought, wow, man, you've explained it in such a way that you could sit down our children and say, okay, well, this is how politics works. Now, the interesting thing is, I've spoken to a couple of people. I got friends that passionately love politics, and you have to you sit down for dinner, and it's like, well, you sit over there, you sit over there. No politics. It's just eat and it just I'm fucking left wing or whatever. Lefties, right? And I'm thinking, don't even know what they're talking about. Left to me is surfing. We're going to go left, or we're going to go right.
Bottom turn back.
Yeah, closest to the girl gets the girl. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm cool with that. Mate, honestly, is it achievable to explain politics almost like an idiot's guide to politics? How does it work, bro? Like, how would I explain this to say my say a 10-year-old child? Politics.
Sure.
Because that's the level.
So well, for me, Australian politics, we'll stay there.
Yeah, let's
we'll stay there because it's
God bless this country.
Yeah, good spot. Our political system is based on the English system, the Westminster system. So we've got 3 levels of government that run our system. There's the local, state and federal governments that have certain responsibilities within each of those things.
Yep.
So the most recent election we've had was the federal election, which was for the Prime Minister, the leader of the country, and to do that. And a lot of people think that you vote for a Prime Minister like you do in other systems, and that's an American model. We don't have that here.
Okay.
So what we have is when you vote locally for the people that represent you in your community. So if you can imagine this as a map or a pie chart, and then in that community there's a certain section within the Sunshine Coast that votes locally for the local issues, and that's the council who do things like parks and gardens and all that sort of stuff, and maintaining suburban streets, etc. Then at a state level, we vote for a slightly bigger pie each time, and those people represent some more responsibilities. Might be main roads and motorways and stuff. And then at a federal level,
it's at a higher level.
Yeah.
So federal is.
They're all equally as important, but yeah, federal, I suppose,
Just
makes
different.
the bigger decisions in terms of the country for things like main roads, so like the highways and rail infrastructure, and whether we have immigration laws or all that sort of stuff at a higher level. So we vote locally for our person, and then that person then forms a government with a group of other people who then elect a Prime Minister within their structure. So that's the mechanics of it. But the feels of it is where it gets interesting, and that I think there's passion, and the left and the right you speak of. So in this country, we've got 2 major sort of centres. There's the Liberal Nationals and the Labor Party. And the Labor Party are considered the left, and the left view is around social issues and around things like that everyone should be looked after by everyone, which is a noble sort of foundation to believe in a structural politics. The Liberal view is about, if I work really, really hard, I should gain the benefits from the fruits of my labour.
Because I'm working hard and these guys are over here hugging.
Or
they're a bit more.
That's where I guess the animosity comes from. This is one in, all in. This is all for me, and I'll give you what I make as an extra. So, so that's one way of looking at it. And I suppose from the Liberal view is, if I can make $1 million, because I'm a motivated individual who's driven, I'm going there. I will give a big chunk of whatever I get to help these people over here. Still care for these people. I love these people. I want these people to work out.
These are my people.
But I'm going this way. These guys go, no, let's all work together so that we all get the same, and that there's no one rises above, or there's no hierarchy or structure, and we're going our own ways. That's a very simplistic view.
Is Liberal, so would business owners and things like that, would they favour Liberal?
Generally speaking. So the Labor Party is focused, I suppose, around the worker, and the Liberal Party, I suppose, is focused around business owners, entrepreneurs, that sort of stuff. And I think that's where it was. And I think times have changed. And I think attitudes have changed. And so there's this blurring of mixture in the middle, and there's left-wing Liberals and right-wing Laborites and
hybrids. So they can have a couple of toes over here.
Correct.
And a couple over there.
Correct. It's got messy. And I think the influence of things like social media and American politics have kind of fucked it all up in many ways, because no one really seems to be serving the people anymore, and it actually seems to be serving themselves in a lot of ways about getting re-elected. And I think the focus now is about how do you stay popular, as opposed to how do you make real change.
So how would you? Oh, this is awesome. I'm understanding it. God bless you, mate. So correct me if I'm wrong. So people. So would people be? Because I noticed the the noise and the following around New Zealand's Prime Minister. They are all about, and I know, obviously I've got friends and stuff, and I'm sure you have, Kiwis back home, and I watch them, they are just all about it. They've got the big Jacinda flag going, they love it. Is that because, now I notice a couple of little things, and again, I'm taking an uneducated standpoint on it. She almost seems like she is standing up for stuff. She's like,
that's right.
No guns.
Yep.
That's it.
Decisive.
You want to do something like that? No guns.
People are sick of politicians because politicians have no business in politics.
Yeah.
People
Yep.
people want people who are true to their word, who are authentic.
Yeah.
It's like, let's use radio as an example. Times have changed. People don't want the radio guy anymore. They don't want the big voice wanker to tell them that they should go and buy this today.
Oh.
They just want someone to be themselves.
Yeah.
And be honest. Be true to themselves and speak about what matters to their heart. Yeah. Don't bullshit people, because if you lie to people or you bullshit, then people see straight through it nowadays.
Oh, that's sniffit.
Transparency,
yeah, sure.
and so I think Jacinda's greatest strength is the fact that she believes at what she's saying. She comes to it from a position of heart, and she's got New Zealand's best interests at her heart and at her core every time she steps in front of a microphone or wakes up and pulls open the paper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of politicians nowadays go, how will I get re-elected? Or what's going to sound good? What do people want to hear me say?
Yeah.
And then
how
you
can I
having
keep
to
my
make
job?
shit up.
How can I do? Yeah.
So for me, the issues in Australia at the moment are centred around, and everyone's different, and that's why it's an impossibly difficult job, because you're never going to please 25 million Australians.
Could you imagine it?
Tough gig.
Oh,
Tough gig.
Sticking needles in your eyes.
But I think it's a matter of feeling what the flavour of your community is and what matters, and finding something that actually is going to make a difference and standing by it.
That's the key, like just sticking to, this is it, this is what I stand for.
Yeah.
Do we have that in Australia? Like,
Not enough.
Someone to just say, righto, you do this to a child, or you kill somebody, fucking this
You're
is
dead.
it. You are dead, meat sucker.
Whatever it is, stand by that.
Yeah, stick up for it. Do you think people would be more inclined to...
Absolutely.
Seems like a silly question.
No, I reckon they would.
Would people sort of go, well, he's sticking up for that. It's maybe a bit full on, hanging somebody from the power pole in Nicklin Way because he, did X, Y, Z. But I'm going to stand with him. At least he stands for something.
And as long as you stand for it and back yourself, then people will either go with you or against you. And that way you know where the flavour is, and then you kind of, the people will decide on that fate. Yeah. Kevin Rudd was a Prime Minister of Australia, and he was quite a right-wing Labor leader.
Yeah.
And I remembered writing a letter to him when he was in power.
Oh, I remember this is...
And this is something that I thought would have been cool, because it might have been something that he could have got re-elected on. And during the time, the Japanese research vessel, I think it was called the Nishin Maru, was in the southern waters off Australia, whaling. All right, now, I have a particular bent this way that shits me to tears, that we, in this day and age, still whale and still kill those magnificent creatures.
Oh my God.
Burns me up. Okay.
Yeah.
So while they're down there doing research, when we know for a fact that they were cutting them up and eating them and doing their things with them and serving their community. Now, I said, if they're going to do research, why doesn't Kevin Rudd send a few naval ships down to Antarctica to do some training? Now, the thing is, it's all about perceptions. It's all about look and see. If they're able to do research, we should be able to do training, and it's all good. Because the Sea Shepherd who were doing their thing down there, their hardest thing was always tracking where the boats were.
Yeah.
So the Navy didn't have to do anything. It could just have been in the water, putting their radar out and going, oh, there's boats here and there's a boat there, and just let everyone know that there's a bunch of boats down here. There's nothing against the law or an act of war or doing anything naughty like that.
Yeah.
And I just think that would have been something that's decisive, that says, I back protecting whales in our own waters.
Yeah.
A show of strength. We're going to do something cool.
Righto, get them
Do you know what I
behind
mean?
it, back it.
Do something productive rather than... Because people get numb and bored to the whole, we're going to talk about tax reform and other things that are going to bore me to fucking tears.
We're still working on the Bruce Highway. Yeah. We're getting there.
Whoop-de-doo. Yeah. Whereas do something, And the other thing that I think, if I can get political for a second...
Oh, please do. I'm loving it.
The one thing that fires me up at the moment that is, I think, a national disgrace is our treatment and our relationship with the traditional owners of this country.
Yeah, this is a hot topic.
This is a biggie for me now.
Is massive, man.
And it's something that I stumbled across, and it's kind of like an awakening in so many ways, that still in schools in this country we teach very little, scarce nothing about Indigenous culture and Aboriginal culture here. Yeah. We talk about the arrival of Captain Cook and the First Fleet, and that's basically when apparently time starts in this country.
Yeah. Okay.
because that's what's written. So it's 200 years of history is where we start, and yet there's centuries of history and learnings that we should be, learning from, capitalising on, benefiting from, sharing, that we just don't because we're ignorant.
Yeah.
We are ignorant. And I take Jacinda Ardern and the Kiwi model as a shining example of where we should be, with the the Waikato Treaty and the other relationships that the Maori people have with the Pākehās in New Zealand. I mean, the fact that we know the language, that the first verse of your national anthem is in Maori is commendable and something that we should be embracing far more in this country than we do. And I think it's actually our greatest shame as a nation. Our greatest shame. Forget the people overboard. Forget the immigration laws.
Do you think
that's our biggest shame?
Yeah, wow. Do you think that it would? Do you think it's going to maybe in a bit more time? Maybe that perhaps. I mean, again, I'm not heavily educated in this department, but do you think we got into it a bit earlier? So the Māori and the Pākehā, the white people, the English, they turned around and said, right, treaty time. This isn't going to work. And we did that in the 1800s or something. So we've got a bit of a run-up. We've got a bit of momentum. And now it's evolving. And here we are. As soon as you arrive in Auckland Airport, there's Māori carvings everywhere.
Yeah.
You've got,
beautiful
Māori waiata kicking off in the background. And heavily, it's right in through our schooling system. So do you think maybe, hopefully, potentially, fingers crossed, Australia is going to catch up?
I only hope, Jamie.
Are people starting to, righto, there was an apology not that long ago.
To start.
Some small steps.
It's baby step. Maybe it's baby steps, but I think why but take baby steps? Why aren't we taking giant leaps? I think we should dive in and find out what's going on, because there's an ignorance to our culture at the moment that says that we know better. And that shits me to tears, because we're sitting here working out the best way to eat and to make our bodies better and healthy and to look after our environment. We're talking global warming and all these issues that we think we have the answers to, or we're going to put scientists behind to try and find the solutions. Whereas there's centuries of learnings from people, from our Indigenous brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, who have this knowledge. Just ain't been asked. Do you know what I mean? And
does that start from the top? Or do you think you've got all these people up the top here that this movement, that this education, this knowledge has got to start from up here? So all these guys up here.
And this is why I bring it into politics. Because they're the decision makers who then start looking at education reform and start looking at what we do as a nation as per this is where we're going. Our leaders, we need leaders to make these decisions.
That's a part.
That leadership is something we're missing and lacking. And I think, just as a small example, we talk about sustainability of fish stocks and stuff like that. Now, there's a particular tree, and Lyndon Davis from the Gubbi Gubbi people here on the coast tells a story about how when a tree is blooming, then that means the leader fish are coming through. Now, the leader fish are the breeders, right? So that tells the people not to fish at this particular time, because the leader fish are coming through that are going to be repopulating the stocks.
Makes sense.
We don't know that shit. We don't know that. So you've got bogan fucking fishermen out there going, oh, it's a big fucker, bring it in, kill it, let's eat it.
Get us a chicken snitty.
Kill the big fucking fish, aren't we smart? Because there's no learning, there's no smarts about it. They didn't read the tree, know what's going on. And all of a sudden, in the next 5 years, there's trouble now with that particular species because we killed all those fucking fish. And so we're going, what do we do? No, I don't know. Well, let's pay a scientist $1 billion through fisheries to find out and grow some fingerlings in a farm. Fuck me. Whereas if we had known what was going on with the tree in the first place, if we had to listen to our locals who actually know what's going on,
been here for 100 years,
we wouldn't have pulled those fish out of the sea. We wouldn't have the problem, and sustainability wouldn't be an issue.
God damn.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
have you thought about getting into politics?
One day.
Oh my God, mate.
One day.
I tell you what, mate. I will put together the biggest float you've ever seen if you get on.
But I just think it's such a powerful thing, and I think there's an untapped mine of knowledge within our Indigenous community that we are just blind to because we think we know better.
Well, there's that ancient wisdom, isn't it?
It's ancient wisdom, Jamie.
Oh my goodness, mate.
And
Jesus!
I think that's the most exciting thing and disgraceful thing that we haven't embraced.
Yeah.
That's politics for me.
Oh my God. Michaela, the camera lady's like...
Double thumbs.
Mate, that is... all things aside, thank you. I have never understood politics, head in the sand mentality, and now at least I have a fundamental foundational understanding.
It's leadership, and it's those sorts of things that you look at and go. So for you, as a proud Kiwi, you must feel good when you see. Let's take the Wallabies minus Israel Folau, the Wallabies taking on New Zealand.
Yeah.
All right. And your lads get out there, and the opening, the haka, is a warrior's, dance essentially.
Yeah.
But your chest must fill with pride because we tremble.
Yeah.
As tough as you want to be as an Australian, you watch that haka and you go,
yeah. Oh,
shit.
Did they have to do that again?
And what do?
Yeah.
We've got some people barely mouthing our anthem. That's girt by sea. Our anthem has words in it, girt by sea. What is that?
What is it? What is
should
girt?
never be used in a song. You never hear Ed Sheeran sing girt, do you? Ed's never. John Lennon never put girt in a fucking song.
What is girt?
Yeah,
What is girt?
It means round. It's surrounded by. But if you need a thesaurus or a dictionary to work out your fucking anthem, you've got a problem.
The first five's like girt. What the fuck's
Girt.
girt? Oh, we're still going. We're still going. Girt.
Girt.
Sounds like
Gert
kale.
sounds like someone's mum, Auntie Gert. Auntie Gert does a decent set of scones. But and all jokes aside, like the Maori culture and that opening sing it for me. The opening line of the national anthem.
Oh yeah.
Aotearoa.
Oh god.
It sounds like you're saying the vowels. It's just beautiful, and it actually fills you. It fills me with pride when I see the Kiwis taking on other cultures and the Kiwis represent. I get excited for the Kiwis.
It's very activating, man, and to think that we've done that forever, millennia, like going into war. And when you read a little bit about war history in Gallipoli and the Maori battalion, ripping into haka and on the beaches, and people are like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And
it's pride.
Bullets. We can only imagine bullets cracking and whistling past, and there's
It's pride, yeah. It's pride in your culture and pride in your heritage. We do everything to hide, our Aboriginal people. We do everything to hide anything that's got Aboriginality. No, it's a shame thing. In stark contrast, the Maori culture is a pride thing.
Yeah.
How do you turn that around?
Well, I've noticed. I mean, again, it's all about perception, isn't it? But I remember I grew up in a bilingual culture. Went to a primary school that was 75-80% Māori.
Yeah.
Our mathematics and science was in English. And as I got older, I kind of drifted away from it. Like I really did. I don't want to use the term "turn my back on it." I didn't turn my back on it. I just got a bit older, and you get after your career, and you're off. I feel there's this real surge of patriotic Kiwis. They're all on the other side of the world, as they say. Kiwis are first in fitness, fashion, and food. So you got these Kiwis all that fly the coop, but it just seems this Maori culture is just bringing everybody back together, whether it's via social media, and that has a huge impact on it as to why we're all sort of coming back together and collaborating. Yeah. But it really is quite amazing, and it's almost, I don't want to use the word cool, but people are really, cool. and you get Pākehā, like white Kiwis, and like myself, half castes, they're just really, full of pride, full of patriotism. They're just like, this is a beautiful country. Even though I'm not living there at the moment, but you feel, you feel like it makes you feel like, okay, I belong. This is where I am from. I'm more than happy to, when I take my last breath, I'm going to go back there. But
it's identity shaping.
Yeah.
And someone asked me the other day, what does it mean to be Australian? And you go, okay, what Canadians have got maple syrup and moose. Nice.
The county mounties and the moose knuckles. Is that a moose knuckle?
That's a moose knuckle. That's nasty. But every culture, it has something that they can pin on, and I think Australia doesn't really have that. Yeah. We might have animals and stuff like that, which is cool, but they've been here for a long time. Yeah. We didn't own that shit.
The Cassowaries.
Yeah, they've been around for a bit. Yeah. Vegemite, whoop-de-frickin-do. I think the shame that we have at the moment is that I think a lot of people will see Australians as a bit bogan, as a bit Southern Cross tattoo wearing, rednecky singlet wearing, abusive of other cultures. I think that's kind of a bit of a cultural attitude Australia has at the moment, and perception that we have outwardly looking in. And that's pretty uncool. When there's so much potential, and within our sports stars, we're a sporting nation. We've got so much stuff to be proud of that we don't bring together. We don't sort of. It's all disparate. And maybe it's the fact that the country is so fucking big that shit's happening everywhere. But these things bring it all together. There's no excuse anymore.
We're all connected now.
There's no excuse anymore.
I was just thinking then, mate, why? Because I truly, truly and sincerely love this country. Like, it has opened doors for me that I tried to open back home and kind of just nudged it ajar and couldn't get my foot through the door, and there's rocks in the middle of my path type thing, whereas in Australia, this country just has really embraced me, and I love it. And so I sit here thinking, what is it that I love so much about this country? And I think it is things. I see a lot of things you can be proud of. Like I said, the military is amazing. My experience with the military in Australia, fantastic military in terms of their ethics, their principles, their values, the sporting thing. I mean, I love, obviously, the Sunshine Coast. We got the best seat in the bloody house. But yeah, there is so many things to be proud of, and it would be nice to see a paradigm shift away from the ute and the carton of 4X and that type of thing.
The larrikin thing was fun. That was a bit more where we're at.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really endured too much war or struggle as a nation, as white Australia. For 200 years we've had it pretty cruisy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so there is that attitude of we're a pretty cruisy nation because it's all cool down here.
Yeah.
Climate's good, environment's good, life's good.
Bit relaxed.
There's plenty of money. Everyone eats. Everyone has a good time. And that fun culture is something we could embrace a little more. But
Yeah, surfing culture.
Why not? Why not? It should be about fun.
Mate. The man himself, the fun mantis.
The fun mantis.
Mate, some quick fire questions. You happy for some quick fire ones?
Bang them on.
All right, man. Eating out in a restaurant, favourite food?
Japanese.
Really?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sashimi. I love a good sashimi. Extra wasabi. A little bit of ginger.
Pickled ginger.
Hit me up.
Oh, 572 sakis. Or is it? No, what's that other Asahi? Stop it.
Sagi, Kirin, Sapporo.
Yeah. Oh, Kirin, the
Asahi.
Asahi.
Yeah, all beers. Yeah, Kirin's a nice beer.
Yeah. Which one's that one that they do in the cider? Is it Kirin as a cider? There's a nice cider. It's Tati.
Is it? You saucy minx, you.
Very similar to ourselves.
And I like teppanyaki. You like the teppanyaki bars?
I do.
It's a bit of fun, a bit of dinner and a show.
A bit hard though when you, they flash fry that kale and stuff for the old vegans. Put a little broccolini on there, would you please?
So you're vegan now?
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
Plant power.
Is it working for you?
A little bit of erectile dysfunction, to be fair, but no.
Hope so.
No, it's I actually really like it. It agrees with me. I'm not radical about it. I'm not going to pitch a tent on some dude's farm and attack him. But mate, it works. I feel good. I feel good.
And that's it. Do you know this? If I can take veganism, I know this is a short fire thing. We'll come back to the short fire.
No, that's all right. That's
but
good.
Just veganism for 1 second is a bit like Israel Folau with his Christianity. Everyone's got to find what floats their own boat.
Mate.
And there's this judgment thing that's starting to get into everyone's world with, I like this, don't like that. And everyone's so tough on the keyboards these days. The keyboard warriors will smack you down. But everyone does their own thing. Everyone lives their own life and is their truest version of themselves. Everyone will get on.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start saying, oh no, my way's right and your way's wrong.
Trying to force your beliefs onto people, whether it's Christianity, veganism.
Do what works for you and what makes you feel good, and then shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Let other people do their thing the way they want to do it. Yeah. And you might think you know better, and you might even know better, but if they don't want to hear it, don't force it.
And if people aren't ready for it, it's...
no.
Yeah, you've got more chance of flying in the air. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Mate, what favourite quote or mantra or something along those lines?
Yeah, it's quite deep, my favourite quote, so hold on to it.
Shoulder deep?
That deep.
Oh, jeez.
It's, I forget who said it now, but it's basically... Before you judge someone, walk a mile in their shoes.
Love that.
Then, when you judge them, you're a mile away, and you have their shoes.
Oh, bro. I was thinking he's gone deep. I'm ready for it. No. Carl Jung. I'm ready.
No, to thine own self be true.
Yeah.
Is one my mum used to say. Mum left us about 5 years ago now. But I think it's a Shakespearean quote. To thine own self be true. Is my favourite quote, which means just true to yourself.
True to yourself. Love that, bro. And in a time where we need that authenticity, vulnerability, all that stuff. That's a great quote. Love it.
That's
God,
it.
mate, you're our deep man. Have you failed at anything you're happy to share?
Yeah.
Something that you've really gone after
Yeah.
and dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Fucked it up, failed.
So, as you said earlier, I went to Matthew Flinders. That was my schooling. And I've got a family who are very serious about quality education and doing well in life and giving you the best opportunity to do everything you should be doing and give it 100%, which is a good philosophy. My parents picked my subjects. They were very firm with their discipline and very driven that I was to be a successful person, which meant a professional career in something like medicine or law.
Yeah, gotcha.
I wanted to be an actor. And as the class clown, that was something that I felt I had to do. I've always enjoyed entertaining.
Yeah.
So I decided early on that I wanted to go to NIDA, which is the National Institute of Dramatic Art in Sydney, which was the pinnacle of performing arts education in this country. So that was my plan. Much to the, I think, shame of my family, I decided not to pursue a professional career and went and auditioned for NIDA.
Yep.
Now, my first year, there was about 200 people down at the Thomas Dixon Ballet Centre in Brizzy, and you pay your $75 online, you learn a couple of monologues and you go and audition, you know? And I remember going through this turnstile door, you know, they call your name, you walk in, and there's like a set of witches' hats around this room as you walk in one door, and these people were in there. And you were tapped on the shoulder if you were required to stay, and if you continued to walk, you just walked out the door and you went home.
Oh my God.
Sort of a brutal kind of a gig.
Back to the casting couch.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, fortunately, I got tapped. I got tapped. And went and sat
Did
down.
you pick me?
That's so nice. And then you go through this process, and the process is intense. And I got to the end of it where they film you, and then they let you know how you got on. Now, they do this in every state of Australia. This was in Brizzy. And so I got the phone call from Tony Knight, who was the artistic director at the time. He said, mate, appreciated your audition, but you're unsuccessful. We're only taking 3 from Queensland this year. You're in the top 5, so congratulations. We're only taking 3. So you go, ooh.
Congratulations, but...
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
God
So it was
damn.
like, ouch. So I came home, had to work out what I was going to do with my life because didn't get into NIDA. So I started working in pubs and clubs, doing glassing and bouncing and that sort of stuff, and waited the 12 months for the next audition, where I had a second crack. I'm at this. I'm going again.
Oh, wow.
So I'm at it. Boom. I'm in there. So I did the whole process, got down to the final 3. Going good. They took 2.
Oh,
from Queensland. I'm like, you're shitting me.
fucking serious?
Seriously? So back to the drawing board, more pubs, more clubs. I was managing nightclubs then for this time.
Damn.
And then third time lucky. Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
Get in there, give it everything. They're all talking to me because we're mates now. 'Cause
Locals, locals,
Thanks,
veterans.
Same
Sam, how are you, brother?
Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, had a really good audition, was really happy with how it went, was the only one to progress through to the video section. And they were talking to me about life in Sydney, how to get accommodation, the train line in. They're basically saying it's a done deal that I'm coming. And I'm like, fucking yes, I'm going to NIDA.
You should see me.
I'd basically had my bags packed, went home, got all excited. 2 weeks went by, I hadn't heard, and I thought, well, it's about the time they take to make these decisions. I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Do they know who I am?
Got the phone call, and Tony was like, Sam, we're very, very sad to let you know that we've decided not to take anyone from Queensland this year.
Oh, bro.
But you're first on the call on the list in case someone drops out.
hurting myself.
And I'm going, you know, around 5,000 people audition for the 25 spots every year. I'm as close as I'm going to get, and you third time round you tell me I'm not in there. And I was going,
bro.
he goes, but we encourage you to try again. And I said, well, you can go fuck yourself.
Have you ever eaten a bag of dicks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had. I actually think
these are really
that was the
tasty.
menu question.
Blueberry?
Bag of dicks, thanks.
Yeah. I'll grab the jelly ones.
So that was a massive fail, and 3 years commitment to something that you think that's where I wanted to be, broke my heart, Jamie. And
would do, bro.
And I think, you know what? I'm meant to be an entertainer, and yet the place I'm meant to go in my head is not wanting me. What the fuck do you do?
Yeah.
So you take this massive left-hand turn, and I went into the corporate world and got boring and really fat, and did something for over a decade, actually closer to 15, 20 years, that I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
But by that stage, I had a wife and a daughter, and life just happened.
Yeah.
Seriously, life just happened to me.
Evolved around you.
And it was like, fuck, hang on a minute. I'm losing hair and I'm morbidly obese, but I've got a beautiful wife and a daughter. That's cool. And then out of nowhere, the radio gig happened, because all the while along, we kept an entertainment business going where I kept doing theatre and film and bits and pieces and had fun.
Yeah.
Because that was my fun. Because if I didn't have that outlet, I could be dead.
Yeah.
Because I did this corporate world that was mind-numbing and met some beautiful people along the way and grateful for the opportunities and the money that fed and paid for my lifestyle, but was hating life and myself the whole time.
Yeah, which there's a lot of people in that.
That's that mechanic, that cog in the wheel stuff.
The rat wheel, yeah.
And so it was just by keeping the theatre, the film and that sort of stuff as a sideline interest, kept the fire burning. You know what I mean? Just kept this little flame, in the corner of my world burning over here.
Now and then a little splash of petrol.
Little fuel. Yeah, true.
Little sambuca.
Little true. Boom. Light up. It's exactly right. And then one day from one of those little flares, caught someone's attention who said, why don't you have a crack at radio? And here's an opportunity, and I grabbed it.
So damn good at what you do.
Thank you. But I have a ball now. Life is grand.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you go, wow, there was an opportunity, and I'm glad I took it.
Mate, do you think, sort of closing summary, and I reckon that last part, plus the politics, love the politics. God, I'm fucking educated now. Watch out. Watch out, left wing. Because there are so many people, and you know them, I know them, in that predicament where they are literally pulling teeth. They are sitting at a desk, on the phone, they're on the cog, they're in amongst it. Yeah, they could be super pumped and fucking passionate about, insert whatever, making cakes, poetry, singing in a band. One key bit of advice from your experience, because what you just said, that's incredible. Thank God you had a little smouldering flame over there. We wouldn't have the Sam Coward that we know and love. What's a bit of advice, bro, to people that are on the rat wheel and they're fucking hating life?
To Mums and Shakespeare's quote, to thine own self be true. Spend a bit of time on yourself. Look in, forget what it means to your wife, your husband, your brothers, your sisters. Forget what it means to anybody else. Shut everyone else out for a second and just have a look at yourself and go, what do you want? What do you really want? What do you want more than anything else in the world? More than other people expect you to want.
Yeah.
Forget everything that...
Do you kind of want it?
Or should I have it because other people say you should have it? Because I'll look cool on Instagram if I've got one of these. Or fuck all that off.
Yeah. What is that one of those? Just
I don't know, something that you give yourself a wedgie. I think if you give yourself a wedgie and turn your bum cheek to the camera, you can sell anything.
Little protein shake.
Little protein shake. Wedgie. Shake. But I think, to thine own self be true, find out what that is. Find out what your core driver is. It could be having fun. As you said, it could be poetry. It could be anything. And don't deny it. Find a way of fueling that flame.
Do though, man. They think, I've got to put food on the table. I've got fucking Telstra bills coming in. I've got to make sure I'm doing this for the boss and the board. And and then over here, there's a musician or a song that hasn't been sung. There's a poem that hasn't been written.
We're so busy pleasing other people that we forget to please ourselves. And the thing is, it's kind of that left-right political mentality. Please yourself first. If you sort that out, you're going to please infinitely more people down the run. So if your thing is about serving others and helping other people, which is a massive motivator for some,
huge,
then if you sort your own shit out, you're going to be far more beneficial to more people.
Community, nation, world, that type of thing.
But find your passion and get at it.
Oh, team, if you haven't found your passion yet, have a good old look, take a leaf out of this amazing man's book. What an incredible story, bro. I feel like we're really tight now. Like I've got to...
Fuck you, mate.
I feel like we're...
Go do some running, wanker. Whatever.
Bro, thank you so much. The man, the myth, the legend. Man, that's awesome, mate.